is an immunity workshop called Boost Your Immunity. And I want to, and Dr. Donna as well, we want to give you the least amount of answers as possible because we want you to tell us the answers. Okay, so we're going to ask a lot of questions. They're all relatively simple. So you're gonna know, or you're gonna at least have a guess. Okay? So for those of you, or if you're just watching this on the video, that's me, Dr. Donna. I'm Dr. Chris Vargas. This is Innate Family Chiropractic. And we've been here since 2010. We specialize in full family care, pregnancy and pediatric care being one of our specialties, or our main specialty. So your immune system, the thing that we're actually learning about today, simple question, what does it do?
Controls everything.
Controls everything?
No, controls your dietary.
Yeah, it controls a lot of that stuff.
Keeps you healthy.
Keeps you healthy, yeah, that's what it's supposed to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Is that it?
No, I mean, you're on the right track. It puts up a fight for us, right?
Yeah.
If there's something,
Protects you.
it protects you. If something foreign gets into your body, it goes through a certain process to figure out where the invader is and how to eliminate it. Okay? So that's the real basics of your immune system. We're going to talk a little bit deeper about what the parts of it are and all that stuff. So before there's too much of a hint up there, the question is, where is your immune system? So this one can be tricky because if I ask you where your respiratory system is, where do you point? Your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your digestive system?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where's your nervous system? You guys should really know this one. Spine and brain, right? But where's your immune system?
Got that thing.
A lot of it's in the gut.
I would say it's all over.
It is all over in a variety of ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's in your gut. They say about 70% of it resides in our gut. The actual cells that make up our immune system, or our main immune cells, come from our bone marrow. So folks that have issues with bone marrow have a really low or susceptible immune system. So that's where the cells actually are made, and then they go out to different areas. So this next slide will give you a little bit deeper. So we see it throughout all kinds of different glands. Our lymphatic system, or our lymph. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, have you guys ever had a cold or flu?
Oh, yeah.
So we know what the experience is if the immune system is challenged, right? And you ever have these swollen things right here? Those are your lymph nodes. Sometimes. And sometimes you just feel a general achiness throughout the body.
Yes.
Usually that is felt within the lymphatic system, or your lymph nodes. That you're sore, achy. So a lot of people usually have them here. Armpits, they feel it sometimes. Wherever lymphatic drainage is. A little deeper is what actually controls your immune system. You said it earlier.
From your brain and your nervous system.
Your brain and your nervous system, they control the immune system. Now, because your immune system is mostly individual cells, like we talked about, your respiratory system we know is the lungs, right? Or it's your nose and mouth taking air into the lungs, and that makes up the respiratory system. So we can very easily see that these nerves connect to those body parts, right? But the immune system, for a long time, there was a debate if the nervous system actually connected. Because how do you connect a nerve to a little cell, right? So folks at the University of Calgary, up in Canada, they did a study that showed in the gut where you see the actual, they took, equipment that I'm not even familiar with, but a super high powered microscope sort of thing. They even put a video up on their website where you see this little nerve ending coming and actually making contact with the cells that make up the immune system. So it's pretty cool, and it proved that yes, indeed, the immune system is governed by the nervous system. So when something gets in, it is going to, let's use a good example. We've probably all had it happen, sometimes from a little kid, because hopefully adults are a little more polite and respectful, but say someone coughs or sneezes in your face. It's happened, right? What happens?
The germ gets in your system.
system.
it gets up in there, right? It gets in usually through ears, eyes, nose, or throat, right? So when it gets in there, part of your system has to be able to know these cells shouldn't be here. And look, if a healthy person does that to you, and they just were sneezing because of dust or something, you're not going to get sick. They're not putting anything infected into you, right? They're just putting other cells into you. But your body's going to recognize, hey, this isn't me. So that's mainly what the immune system does when it's looking, because it's looking at anything that's foreign. So whether it is dust, you will sneeze because that's foreign. But if it's a bacteria, virus, mold, fungus, things like that, then your immune system is really going to kick in to now figure out what to do with this thing. And most of the time what it does is encapsulates it. We say that it likes to give them a big hug. Gives that germ a big hug and kills it. That's what it's trying to do most of the time. So one thing that we have to know is two different things, two lines of defense. So with our immune system, we have our first line of defense. You guys know what that is? And this one, the first line of defense, like when people, especially, it's coming, even though it doesn't feel like it's anywhere close to us, but flu season and the marketing of flu season, we think it's nonsense. Dr. Adana there, she likes to say that it's not like all the bugs all call each other up and say, it's time, go get the humans. It's September, let's go get them. We'll get into why that is the season that things happen in terms of your immune system. But when we hear how to protect yourself, I know they definitely do it in the workplace, probably at schools too. What's one of the first things that they tell you to do just to stay safe?
Wash
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands, right? Which is a good, I'm all for that. So what they're getting at is, it's trying to limit the spread of it, right? And so let's go through the example. Someone that is sick doesn't wash their hands. How do they spread it to other people?
Touching.
Through touch, right? So then it gets,
Pencils.
you what?
Sharing pencils or
Sharing.
pens.
Sharing pencils, pens, I thought you said utensils, which would that would do it too. So what they're getting at is protecting your first line of defense. So think of your first line of defense in your immune system as being the stuff on the outside. So your skin is a huge one. Your ears, nose, throat, ears to an extent, they all have a mucous membrane, right? They all have, especially your eyeball, right? If you poke it, it's squishy and wet. So that's your first line of defense, your protection from the outer world, along with your skin. So those mucous membranes, let's use your nose. If something gets in your nose, your body knows to sneeze. If something gets in your throat, your body knows to cough. If it gets in your eyes, it waters, right? Ears, that's why I kind of threw it in the mix. It itches, it makes you do something, right? And to try to get it out. But all those things, imagine like one little germ got in, your body is immediately trying to get it out, right? And usually it does a good job at that, unless your immune system is low at the time. So we'll get into that stuff too. Let's say it gets past that, so that would be your first line of defense. If it gets past that, then we get into the stuff that you see here and on the previous slide, which is the internal stuff. Your B cells, your T cells, and we're not going to get too sciencey with the types of cells and this and that. But what happens is that those cells then go find it. Go find it and go attack it. If you've ever had blood work done, or it could be through a family member or something who's had an immune challenge, and you take their blood count, usually their white blood cells are much higher during an infection. So white blood cells are this collection of T cells and B cells and all that stuff, are white blood cells that go in and they fight for you. They go and take care of business. And like I said, what they do is they try to encapsulate it and crush it, get it out of your system. Usually that takes some time, depending on the level of the germ. We'll just use germ to mean bacteria, virus, all that stuff, right? What usually happens to your body during that fighting period?
You start getting a sore throat.
Sore throat,
Achy, maybe fever.
fever. So let's talk about the what?
Grumpy.
Grumpy, yeah. That can happen for a lot of reasons, but yes, typically we're not our happiest at that time. Let's talk about a fever. Do we like fevers?
No.
Why not?
That was scary.
They make you
But
feel
it
lousy.
shows that your body fights. Yeah.
It shows that your body fights. So, have any of you ever gone camping?
Yes.
All right, and maybe not. Some
Half camping.
city folks,
No, half camping.
half camping. So one thing that see if we understand this example. So if you're camping, you go out and let's say you forgot all your water, but there's a creek right there. So you can collect that water. Should you drink it?
No.
But can you do something to make it drinkable?
I believe you can boil it.
You can boil it, right? Because what does boiling do?
Kill stuff.
It kills stuff, kills the germs in there. Wouldn't it be great if your body knew how to do that too?
Ah, that's why you have a fever.
That's where the fever comes in. So, germs, whatever they are, they can only live at a certain temperature. Usually it's very close to our body temperature. It's the same reason why we refrigerate food, because they can't live too low and they can't live too high, in just a very general sense. So our body heats up to the point where those germs can't live anymore and they die off. So we've had a fever, all of us have had a fever at one point, right? If you let it go, you eventually get to that point where it breaks, or that's what they call it, the fever breaking, and you kind of just sweat it out. Have you ever felt that?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, maybe. So it happens, it's a real thing. So it breaks, you sweat it out, and 9 times out of 10, after that you feel better. Because at that point, you've killed off the majority of the invaders, and your immune system is winning the battle now. Instead of actively battling, now they're actively winning, okay? So we want to let those fevers ride. And that's, I think one of you guys said scary for fevers, maybe. So it can be scary for parents of kids who have a fever and you see that start to escalate, because yes, of course, there are times where a fever can go too high. It doesn't happen very often, but we can get there. So we want to monitor it, obviously, but for our kids, we make the recommendation of let that fever ride its course. Because the easiest and fastest way that studies have shown to prolong a fever is to suppress it. So if we give it Tylenol or anything to bring the temperature down, all you're doing is bringing the body's core temperature down, so the bugs and the germs live longer. So your body's going to stay, or going to want to stay in that feverish state as long as it needs to kill them. But if we keep knocking it down, just so we see that the number on the thermometer says 98 or 99, the germs aren't dying, right? So we're just prolonging this whole process. So a lot of our kids that get fevers and parents just let it ride, their recovery time is usually a lot faster. And that's what we go for, because there's going to be a point where, yes, if we get some sort of immune challenge, a cold or flu, we at least want to get over it as fast as possible. I've been in a place where it's like 2 weeks and I still feel pretty crappy, right? That's not fun. It's because I was prolonging it at the time. I was doing things that weren't helping my case at all.
But at what temperature would you say, okay, that's too high? 102, 100. We're going to be hard pressed not to give you something to bring it down.
I would say like 103. 102, I'm still good.
Natural ways to bring it
4? 104?
Really?
Yeah, because,
I mean, when do the convulsions start?
well, that's the thing. People think, oh my God, we're going to have a seizure, a febrile seizure. And it might happen. But at the same time that you're going through a fever, it's not like I'm just going to stand back and be like, go ahead, burn. Like, I'm going to try to help you with something. Like, we're going to increase your fluids. We're going to give you, maybe a cold compress to put on.
Okay,
We're going to be taking some vitamin. We're going to be actively doing something. And on our end, because people will ask me, like, okay, when my kid gets a fever, I'll probably adjust them like every hour, to make sure that that body's constantly doing what it needs to. So we're still proactively doing something to help it, stop from that.
And at the very least, getting adjusted at least once a day. So we'll see kids or adults if they're sick more often.
Yeah, we told you if you're fighting a cold, you got to come in more often so
Yeah.
that it gives it, a bigger boost.
Good.
Oh no, it's gonna
Your slide's coming up. So these things weaken your immune system, right? So if we look at these: processed food, lack of sleep, sedentary lifestyle, mental stress, unhealthy nervous system, or unhealthy digestive system. So I know for me personally, you guys could probably do the same thing. Anytime in the last 5 years that I've been sick, I mean my whole life, but in the last 5 years, anytime that I've been sick, I can pick, I know exactly which one it was. Usually it's sleep for me. Diet, we usually maintain a good diet, so it's not usually that for us, but usually mental stress and sleep. Those will be my two.
Mine is sleep, stress, and then sugar.
Yeah.
As soon as
Oh, sometimes
goes
for
down
me,
when
sugar. Yeah.
when I'm stressed out or tired,
Yeah.
Well, anytime your immune system's weaker, we always ask, well, which stress was it? Physical, chemical, or mental emotional? It's one or the other. Either you're draining yourself, gas pedal on, go, 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 you haven't taken a break, or your diet's been terrible, maybe you've been eating bad food, maybe you've been drinking bad stuff, maybe you've been taking bad stuff, or mentally, emotionally, you're under so much stress. Well, all of it's going to affect your system one way or another, right? There it is.
Pick which one.
There it is. And then, of course, the big question is, well, what do we do? You know, we have this immune system. Well, how do we make sure that our immune system is always functioning well? Because, look, we're both exposed to so many people every single day. And I'm exposed to little germy children, right?
Yes.
Because they go to
I think
daycare.
they're worse.
You know, here's what happens. Some kids go to daycare, and then all of a sudden, they're like congested,
Yes.
sinus issues, they have a cold. Why? Well, first of all, they're being exposed to so much stuff. What's a kid been doing the first 3 years? They've been home. They're hanging out with parents, they're hanging out with friends, whoever, but they're exposed to their own stuff, their own table, their own, dining room, whatever. And then you go to daycare and it's like 20 other people show up with their house and their germs and their floor, whatever it might be. That's why initially it is a shock to the system. It is. But that doesn't mean you have to be sick all of daycare. I mean, I was talking to a parent who they took their kid out of daycare because it hit their immune system so hard, and I was like, well, then that just means the immune system needs a lot of work, And when you're younger, that's when your immune system's most immature. So that's when it needs to naturally build up. And one thing with that, if we sterilize everything around us, it's terrible. Kids that live in more sterile environments are more sick because they're never being exposed to anything. I'm sure there's some kind of dirt, dust, something on here. But every time I do that, look, that's a level of immunity, right? I'm being exposed. They're playing outside, they put a toy in their mouth. They're not gonna be filth monsters, but you know what I mean? Like if I sterilize everything, then one tiny bug and what happens to them? They're done! They get terribly sick because they don't have anything in their systems, right? So there's very, very, very basic steps that you take, and if you see these basic steps, basically are life steps, right? Optimum nervous system, whole food supplements, essential oils, sleep, exercise, and nutrition. You don't do one over the other, but you gotta maintain a good level for a lot of it, right? So let's start with your nervous system. You just learned, how can a person achieve an optimum nervous system? You're veterans, so you better tell me this answer.
adjust.
I get adjusted. Because as you see, your immune system is going to get so much stronger. Why? Because it's being governed by your nervous system. And your immune system sits, most of it, in your gut. So we want happy digestion going on too. And where do those nerves come from? Right here. If you're constantly working on your nervous system, what's it going to do to your immune system? It's only going to strengthen it. So you know because you get adjusted. If you don't know, that's a good fact to learn. Number 2, if you look with chiropractic and immunity, I'm going to read this to you. It says, a study was done where wellness chiropractic patients had a 200% stronger immune system than non-chiropractic patients. And they had a 400% stronger immune system than those with a chronic illness, cancer, diabetes, heart disease. Basically, a wellness is you're getting checked once a year. So they did this study on chiropractic patients who had been getting, once a month, I'm sorry. I just heard myself say it. Once a week, you're getting adjusted. Once a week, you're getting adjusted. And as you're doing that, and you've been under care for a long term consistently, then your immune system functions 200% better and 400% better than somebody else's who's got a chronic issue going on. Raise your hand if you want your immune system working 200 or 400% better. Duh, me too. I've been getting adjusted since I was 19. So I very much fall into this category, and I plan on getting adjusted forever. As long as my spine and nervous system are here and I'm alive.
Good
Huh?
candidate too.
Yeah, you're gonna same amount of time almost, right?
Yeah.
So whole food supplements. Why take whole food supplements? Because look, when you go to Whole Foods or anywhere like that, there's like 1,000 of each thing for you to take, right? So how do you even know what to choose? What do you take regularly, and then what do you take when your immune system's down? There are a lot of great companies out there, but my issue with a lot of companies, even if they're carried at Whole Foods, Sprouts, anything like that, is some of them have synthetic ingredients, and I don't know where they're sourced from. Personally, I like standard processed products, and I like NutraWest for their vitamin D. So I have a little array there, and I'll show you my standard processed stuff that I like. That's like, you gotta keep this in your wellness cabinet, because I don't have a medicine cabinet at home. I have a wellness cabinet. So a couple things I like from standard process are Congoplex and Inuplex, and depending on what's going on with your immune system, I might recommend one over the other. One might be a little bit more of a viral thing going on, so we'll go down that route. One might be bacterial, one might be strictly chest congestion, sinus, anything like that. The two sinus things that I love are Antranex and Allerplex. If someone's got more of an acute kind of sinus issue, I'll start to use Antranex. The other thing Antranex does is it helps with the liver and flushes out the liver, because when liver gets backed up, then we're going to have some congestion issues come up. Allerplex is for somebody who's got more of like a chronic sinus type issue going on. And then we have Echinacea, and then we have vitamin D. Echinacea is one of those things where I recommend people take it daily. Congoplex is one of the things I recommend people take daily, especially if they're younger or they're in a school or anything like that where they're exposed to so much more. The Congoplex comes in chewables for the kids, so I have the kids take one a day. It's kind of like their multi, because it's just going to be a little bit of an extra immune boost and support to them. The thing with Echinacea is it's absolutely powerful, but the reason why I swear by MediHerbs Echinacea is because there's a certain part of the Echinacea flower that they use, and that's the most effective. Where something else might be a part that they're not supposed to be using, so it's not going to be as strong for your system. So these things I absolutely swear by. And of course, if you get your adjustment, get some extra sleep, eat a little bit better, and take these things early on, it's not going to linger. It's not going to linger. It's when we go and kind of ignore what's going on in the system that things become a bigger issue, right? On top of that, what I like to add are some essential oils. So two essential oils that I really like for immunity. There's a lot, again, depending on what's going on. We are doing an essential oils workshop, which you ladies should come to next month. But two of them that I love are Thieves and Lemon. So lemon I will give to people if they're very congested and we want to get your lymph draining. So your lymph nodes are all over, but you'll sometimes feel them a little bit more swollen if you've got a sore throat, if you're more congested. So with the lemon, what that's going to do is we're going to dilute a little bit with some coconut, and we're going to drain around this entire area. We're going to pump those fluids through. We're going to do the same thing by putting a little bit on our liver externally, because that's going to help flush everything out too. So lemon's really good for lymph drainage. Thieves has a wide variety of usage. Thieves we might have, if someone's got a fever, I might have them put a little bit of Thieves on the bottom of their feet, go to sleep with some socks on in the evening. Thieves is something that you can gargle with. It is a phenomenal antibacterial. If you've got strep or anything like that, you're done. I mean, it'll be done in just a sec. You can gargle with it, you can directly put it on your throat, dilute it a bit because it is very strong. It has clove, it has cinnamon, I forget what else it has in there, but it has some lemon, it has eucalyptus, it has rosemary. It smells very strong, but it's very effective. I used it the other day because I got some work done on my teeth, so I gargled with it and I put it directly on my teeth because I'm like, look, if there's any type of issue, anything's lingering, what's the first thing I'm going to do for it? I gave some to your son to use on his teeth.
Oh, he loved it.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great. It's very refreshing. It's a great antibacterial. It'll kill everything off. These you can also, just depending on what's going on, sometimes I'll have people put it externally on their throat. But both of these are going to really talk to that nervous system because your nervous system is going to be functioning well anyway. So the reason why the essential oils do so well is they just really go hand in hand with your nervous system to just boost everything up. Another one is RC, which is for more respiratory. They have a specific immuno one, which is again more immune system support. But it just depends what's going on. But they're great things to keep around. I have my bottle in my purse because I'm never out and about. That's what I'm doing. Sleep. So we have something in our system called our autonomic nervous system. So our autonomic nervous system consists of our sympathetic nervous system and our parasympathetic. You guys remember in school learning if the tiger's chasing you, your fight or flight kicks in, right? That's your sympathetic. So that's basically like your foot's on that gas pedal because if someone's chasing you, you're running. You know, you're not taking a break, you're not going to the bathroom, no, everything's heightened. Your blood pressure's going up, everything's kind of going up with it, right? Well, on the other end, we have your rest and digest. And that's a big part of healing. Rest and digest, if you look, that's your brake pedal. That's your body's brake pedal. To just say, okay, I'm gonna chill, I'm gonna make sure that I rest. Because when you're sleeping, that's a lot of healing happening in your body. Because you're not out and about and moving around and doing everything else day to day. Because most of us live in like sympathetic mode all the time. We rarely put that brake pedal on to like even come to this happy medium. No, we're always go, 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 go. And as parents, I'm sure you gotta go here, you gotta take a kid here, and then they have this class here, and then I gotta drop them off here, and then next thing you know, it's the evening and you're going to sleep, and then tomorrow is the same routine all over again, right? Well, sleep is gonna be very crucial for your healing and for your immune system. And as you all mentioned, that's a little trigger, a little flag for you when your sleep is off. Guess what? So are you. So we're gonna make sure we optimize our sleep, we wake up energized, but more importantly, we actually allow our body to do the healing that it needs to. You can only go so long until you're knocked down. And if you remember times where you've been like really sick, well, you've been really sick because your body's like, I'm done with you. This is the only way you're gonna listen to me. You're gonna eat it. Like you're done, and you can't do anything, right? Well, don't let it get to that point. I've done it. You know, it's not fun because it'll probably take you a little bit longer at that point to heal, and you just don't want to get yourself so beat down. Why? You know, what's the point? Exercise. So exercise is going to be lovely and wonderful for your immune system as well because our bodies are meant to move. If you remember, one of the things that weakened our immune system was a sedentary lifestyle. Most of us are inside all day long. We're not out and about working in the fields or doing anything like that. No, we're sitting at a desk, we're in front of a computer, we're on a cell phone, a phone, whatever it might be. Get your butt out and move. That's a shameless plug to CrossFit because we love to CrossFit. That's our exercise. If you don't like to CrossFit, that's okay, you don't have to, but do something. Find something that you can do at least 3 to 4 times a week so you're moving your body. And guess what? When you're exercising, you're moving lymph as well. If things are stagnant in your system, like you're jumping up and down, everything's completely flushing out of your system, right? You're releasing good hormones, you're sweating. So if you've got any toxins, anything like that needs to come out, it's happening there too. So you've got a bunch of benefits happening with exercise. What do you like to do for exercise? Yeah.
Actually, I do like CrossFit. I haven't gotten back in.
You should.
But I need to. And I'd say that's my favorite, the CrossFit. Because you do.
Yeah, you're weightlifting, everything. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. What do we like to do?
Squats
Very nice.
and deadlifts.
Strictly squats and deadlifts. And you?
Walking.
Walking. Good.
I love walking. And then weightlifting.
See, the thing with walking too is I think it's not only a good positive physical stress, but it's such a good mental one too. And I'm sure you work out and you're like, I feel like $1,000,000. You feel so good because guess what? All those little happy chemicals are
That
floating
happened
around.
yesterday. I went to the gym in a really bad mood, and I came out and,
It doesn't happen. You can't leave like that in a bad mood. You
and
can't.
I left in such a good mood.
Yeah, of course.
Like 180 change.
Exactly. Your body's moving, your chemicals are flowing, your brain's starting to feel better. So all in all, it's a fabulous, fabulous thing for your system.
My husband is 10.
And then nutrition. Do I really need to tell you about nutrition? So it's a sharing time. You tell me why you think proper nutrition is good for your immune system. Because I could tell you all day long, but why?
Because you are what you eat.
Very much so. What else?
All the vitamins, good stuff you get from good food.
Yeah, it's nutrient rich, right? That's our goal. Our goal is that the quality of food that we're eating is decent enough to, of course, give us everything. In this day and age, not as much as I hope, but at least we're making better decisions. And you said earlier, you said sugar. Sugar weakens your immune system like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're fighting something, that is the first thing that you need to absolutely stay away from. Sorry. And sugar doesn't just mean table sugar, but that means carbs. Because carbs break down into sugar. Most of the time, if you're fighting that kind of a cold, your body likes to starve a cold. If you're fighting something, you're not sitting down and eating a giant pizza. Like, you don't really crave something like that. Your body's starving that cold because all of its attention is fighting it off. It's not going to focus on digestion or anything like that. But at the same time, be conscious of it. Have bone broth, have soups, have a lot of fluids. Again, you're flushing stuff out, you're going to the restroom. Plus you're giving very simple, very simple foods to your body, so then it's easier for it to focus on healing than trying to digest your cheeseburger that you just felt like eating. What else? And what other chronic issues is sugar something that is pretty dangerous? Not pretty, very dangerous.
Blood sugar level?
You said other than sugar?
So what chronic illnesses does sugar become a big problem?
Well, diabetes.
Diabetes is huge, absolutely. And then the other is cancer.
Yeah.
Because cancer feeds off sugar. If that's the only thing that your diet consists of, your immune system doesn't stand a chance. And especially if you've gone through any treatment and you've gotten chemo, radiation, anything like that, your immune system's already completely shot. Not to mention now, if you change nothing nutritionally about what's going on, well, those cancer cells, they're gonna go buck wild in there. It's like a party for them. So not only, we want to start this when we're not in that state, when we're a completely healthy state, so that we never end up reaching that point. Sugar's in everything too. Everything from ketchup to, mustard to whatever. Things that you don't think about that have sugar, because every time, like ketchup, I don't, have like a pound of ketchup every time I eat, but I like it on stuff. And I remember when we did Paleo Reset, I was like, ketchup. Like, I forget, like, even though it has 1 gram,
It's still a lot.
yeah, it still adds up, And if you have some here and there, it's not the majority of your diet, it's okay, but it's not something that you should be having hundreds and hundreds of grams of all the time. So what can you start doing now to strengthen your immune system? You tell me.
And adjust it.
Which you already do, absolutely.
Drink a lot of water.
Very
Yourself
nice.
hydrated.
Very good.
Eat healthy.
Sleep? Yes.
Eat healthy, exercise, and take vitamins.
Very nice. And look, if you have a day where you splurge or whatever, you're out, that's okay. It doesn't mean, oh my God, my immune system's done, I'm gonna get sick tomorrow. No. But at the same time, then be conscious a couple days into that. If you know or you feel something's lowered or your digestion's been off or your diet's been off, well, get an extra adjustment that week. Make sure you have some more water. Clean up your diet a little bit just so you boost anything else along. And then if there's anything else that I can recommend is make sure your mindset is that of health. Like if someone comes in sick, I never think, oh my God, I'm gonna get sick, ever.
But that's the worst thing.
Ever. I never, as the kids are snotty, they sneeze all over us. I never have the thought of, oh my God, I'm gonna go home and get sick. I'm like, well, hope you feel better tomorrow. I'm gonna be just fine. Because as soon as you buy into that, then you are going to get sick. Period. You're gonna get sick. I don't care if 25 people are sick around you. You don't have to get sick. Do you have to take some extra steps? Yes. If you've got 25 people around you, you're probably gonna have to take like 8 extra steps to make sure that your immune system's doing great. I'm not telling you you're not going to do anything, but don't buy into that. Because we've had so many people that are like, oh, 3 people were sick at work today. I know, I'm just going to be sick tomorrow. And I'm like, why? Why do you have to be sick tomorrow? You don't, just because their immune system's not doing too well doesn't mean yours has to. So that's a big, big part of it too. How you mentally are going to address whatever. That's with everything in life, but especially your health.
I've never seen you get sick. I've seen Chris get sick. Have you ever been sick?
Oh, yes.
So it's been years since I've been sick. However, this last February, I was down for like 3 days, and I was like this. Like a mean little kid. I was so mad that my immune system was like, but I deserved it because I pushed.
You knew.
Oh, heck yeah. I pushed way too hard, but I was so mad because I don't get sick. I just don't get sick, but I did, and it was like, I refused, but I was so knocked out at that point. I'm like, Adana, where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do? You can't even move off the couch. It took me a couple days, I got over it, but it's been years. It's not, yeah.
Have any of you seen the video that I made about myself? We emailed it out maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. It's me talking about it's
Ear
like chemically
infections.
free kid or chemical free kids or something like that. Yeah, the main thing was like ear infections and so on and so forth. So it's me talking about myself as a kid, and I don't know if you remember, I had tons of ear infections.
Yeah.
So I was on a bunch of antibiotics.
Amoxicillin.
Amoxicillin, ugh,
Yeah.
that nasty
Bubble
bubble gum.
gum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was no good. So I think even, innately I knew at some point that I needed to stop taking this because every so often when my grandparents would watch me, they had to give it to me, so I would then I would sneak to my mom's bathroom and spit it out. This is probably
How old were you at that point?
6 maybe, 5 or 6.
Wow.
And I'd been taking this stuff for a long time already, like every other month. So then I grew out of that, right? And then later on, I developed acne, which they gave more antibiotics for. So oh my god, that's the first thing they give.
Heavy.
Yeah, so those antibiotics it came in oral form and topical. And those ranged from, I don't know, when I was 13 to 19. So, every so often just being on some level of antibiotics. So that really messed up my gut. Then I went on this crazy one called Accutane, which you know a lot about. So all of I took Accutane, for 6 months. I had to do blood tests every month to make sure that my liver wasn't dying. Basically what it was. But so at 6 months they said, oh no, your liver's not doing well with this anymore. Just thinking that I would need a blood test every month should have been an indicator like maybe I shouldn't take this.
Yes.
But nonetheless, I was on it. So that led to all kinds of digestive stuff. I know that at that point I was kind of done with doctors because they just kept giving me stuff that wasn't working and I was feeling awful. But I probably would have I had the symptoms of Crohn's. If you look at what those are, I didn't have symptoms. I was approaching ulcerative colitis, but I wasn't that far into it. Crohn's is a lot of digestive nonsense. Imagine having diarrhea and constipated at the same time. Awful. You didn't know what was gonna happen in here, and you didn't realize what foods were irritating it. Now you see commercials for all kinds of medications for it, which are gonna lead people, and we've had patients with all kinds of other issues as a result of that. So all of that led me to becoming a chiropractor because my first chiropractor is the one who told me all the stuff you've been doing is tearing you apart. So all of that, especially in high school and college, I would get sick all the time. And I don't even think it was a mental thing. I didn't see other people getting sick. I feel like I was just weakened because of all the chemicals I was taking. So it was pretty much predictable. After finals, whenever we had that 2-week break, right? Whether it was Christmas or the beginning of summer, we'd go on family vacations, and that was like the first week after school let out, and I was just sick. Christmas, I was always sick. Like, it was just this constant thing. So not until I really started to do the things that we listed in terms of nutrition and sleep and knowing when I needed to rest more or when stress was getting too high. So like for me, finals were like the perfect combination. I wasn't sleeping as much as I should. I was really stressed. I mostly studied at Starbucks, so I would get sugary snacks and treats from there. It was like the perfect storm for me being sick. And then when the last final was over, and I'm done. So that's my defense. Since it's been a while, I haven't been sick in quite some time. And now there's other triggers that I know to recognize and know when I need to rest a little more. But I will say it took a good 4 or 5 years of like really making sure that my gut health was better before I felt like I could be in contact with people and for sure not be ill because of it, because my immune system was taking so long to rise back up.
So why do you think when it was break time you would get sick?
Because he wouldn't have those extra stresses like
Yeah.
he would put pedal brakes on.
Yes, because during break, that's when your body was like, oh, you're maybe sleeping a little bit more. So basically everything you've been holding on to is like right at the surface. And you said Christmas. Well, the holiday times, are people's stresses like super low? Everyone's chill during the holidays? No, everything's crazy. And here, the holidays, I hate this, but all of like the decor, it's been out for like 2 months already. Like, give me a break. We're so quickly moving on to the next thing. Well, that's why a lot of times during holidays, it's office party time, it's cakes here and cupcakes there. And so, I mean, during the holidays, people starting in October probably eat more sugar than they do all year long. And then you wonder why when it's the new year or it's kind of right around Christmas time, your immune system tanks, you know, because all you've been feeding it.
And then they said flu season is here.
All right?
Get the shots.
It's more like the sugar season is here. Your holiday sugar, that's what it should be called.
When you're eating the most sugar, typically, you are getting the even less sunlight because the days are shorter. So the little bit that you get, you're getting even less of it. So you're not making enough vitamin D, and you're probably not supplementing it. So it's all this. No wonder it's flu season.
And you're in school or at work and
Right.
Yeah, you're inside. Yeah, absolutely. And look, with antibiotics too, antibiotics should not be taken lightly. And they're handed out like candy. Like anything that happens, they're like, here, just take some antibiotics. And my first question that I always ask people is, okay, if something requires an antibiotic, that means it has to be a bacterial issue. If you have a viral issue, your antibiotics are pointless. They do nothing for it. The majority of the time, people who get antibiotics are not having a bacterial issue, right? Well, how do you determine if something's bacterial? You have to culture it. So if you come in and I think that you have some kind of bacterial issue, I have to take a culture, whether I'm swabbing the inside of your mouth, anything like that. I have to grow it. I have to wait at least 24 hours. I have to see what it is, and then I can call you and say, hey, yes, this is something bacterial, go take your antibiotics. If I was your doctor, your MD, right? But they don't. So the majority of the time, you're taking something that you don't even have an issue for, and your gut is being ruined. And what happens is that same issue you went in for is going to come back in about a month or two, probably tenfold. Because now whatever immune system capabilities you had in your gut, they're gone. And it wasn't a bacterial issue anyway. So now you're sicker and your system's gonna be even more affected. And then we're gonna give you another round and then another round, which we see a lot with ear infections. I mean, we have kids that have gone through like 10 rounds of antibiotics and I just wanna smash my head against a wall. So I'm like, after one, what was the difference in 2? And 3 and 4, and like nothing's changing. Why are we doing the same thing, right? So don't If I can teach you anything, is don't take antibiotics that lightly. They're not candy. They're not a joke on your system at all. And they may not affect you right now, but they're going to constantly affect that immune system later on. So be very, very strict and conscious of how you take them, if you even need them, and what you're gonna do with them and what they're for.
So far, before we talk about William here, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
What do you do if you still exercise and eat healthy and get sleep, but you're still tired?
At that point, it might be something adrenal. It might just be your adrenals kind of sit right around your kidneys. They're responsible for hormone development. School is the time that your adrenals are just shot. Because I remember ours were like that too. So we might just need to add in a little bit of extra adrenal support for you there.
Any other questions? Let's talk about Mr. William. He's all yours.
Oh, well, thanks, Hannah. Okay, so William is one of our kiddos that we've been seeing now for, I believe, like 7-8 months. We've still got a lot of work to do with him. However, when he came in, he was constantly sick. He had mono, but it was completely undiagnosed for a really long time. Chronic ear infections repetitively. Huge tonsils, huge adenoids. The recommendations, he was given antibiotics for rounds and rounds and rounds. He was also taken out of school because they just thought, okay, this kid is constantly getting sick. We got to kind of clean house a bit. So the recommendations came in putting tubes in the ears because, well, what are you going to do? That's what the recommendation is for ear infections. Removing your adenoids and removing the tonsils. So your adenoids and your tonsils are really crucial immune organs. And one thing we have to remember is you were given a system with particular organs for a reason. Nothing is extra in your body. When you were created, whoever you think created you didn't say, your gallbladder, useless. Let's just, you don't really need it, so I'll give one to you, I won't give one. That didn't happen. Everyone's got the same organs, right? And if our organs were meant to be taken out, we should probably have a Velcro here. No! Just because you remove an organ doesn't mean it made you any healthier. Now you are just as unhealthy with one less organ. That's your reality, right? If people have gallbladder issues, just because I removed my gallbladder doesn't mean my gallbladder issues went away. Now something else in my digestive tract is going to start to suffer because my gallbladder is not even there to try to process what was going on. So in his case, being a 4-year-old, when you're taking out adenoids and tonsils that are such crucial immune organs, you don't grow out of that stuff. First of all, you don't even grow into your adenoids and tonsils, or your adenoids until you're a little bit older anyway. They're going to be a little bit more enlarged when we're younger. And they'll go away and they shrink on their own and anything like that. But so if we took them out, did that make him so much healthier? No. The question comes is why? What's the cause of all these ear infections? What's the cause of his tonsils always being swollen? What's the cause of the adenoid? So that's what we started to look at. Yes, there was a ton with his nervous system that was off. Surprisingly, this child has a very, very good diet. Parents live a very, very good lifestyle, but we still kind of cleaned up and went a lot more strict. Did I get him on certain oils and supplements? Yes, because we had a lot of rebuilding to do. We've got the gut that's been torn up, and now we have to completely go and rebuild everything. Did he get tubes? No, because his ear infections went away. Did he get his tonsils and adenoids taken out? No, his tonsils were huge. I remember looking at them, they were humongous. They had white spots on them. They're fine. His adenoids, still a bit enlarged, but guess what? He's got a little bit of an issue with his nose anyway, so it's gonna sit a little off. So did we have to take those things off? No. What did we do? He's a 4-year-old, so he's out and about and running anyway. I don't have to worry about his energy or exercising or sedentary. But we started adjusting him very specifically, clearing out those subluxations that were creating his immune system to be in such havoc anyway. And then we started working on certain nutritional things, certain supplementational things, certain oil things, once his system was ready and rebuilding and rehealing to take all that. Are we completely done with him? No, we still have stuff to do. Because guess what? At the same time, he's in daycare and kindergarten. So ta-da! We've got a lot more stuff coming. Right, which is fine. But now his immune system, if it does get weaker, he gets over it in a couple of days and we move on. And that's what we're supposed to do. It's okay to get sick, guys, especially when kids are younger. It's okay.
Yeah.
And even with you, it's okay. You shouldn't be sick every single week, but it's all right because that's how your immune system's naturally going to build immunity and get stronger. If we constantly block, oh no, I'm going to take something for my congestion, I'm going to take something for my throat, and I'm going to take something for my, fever, and I'm going to take, well, where's all that stuff going? On the inside. So if you had mucus that had to come out, and now you took something to stop it and dry it, do you think it's gone? No, now it's stuck somewhere on the inside, so it's going to start to mess with your respiratory tract, it'll probably mess with your digestive tract, whatever it might be. That stuff doesn't just go away. So we always want to emphasize that we want to start the most natural, non-invasive route first, and then we're going to let that body do what it does. It self-heals and it self-regulates. As long as your nervous system's working well, you're going to be working well. And if we see that something else needs to be added on, then that's when we choose something else. Because look, there's situations where, yes, we're going to have to use some kind of medication, or yes, we're going to have to do something else. But not every situation to start. Because if we started every situation using the most extreme thing to begin with, what are we doing? Our kids are only unhealthier now. Kids nowadays have more chronic issues than ever. We got to change something up, right? And what are we going to do? We're going to start with it here. So as adults, as who you are, you know how to take care of yourselves, but for people who don't, especially at work, I know it's big, let them know. I'll give you a copy of this video, pass it along to them, whatever it might be, but just know that your body knows exactly what to do. It's just going to take a little bit more work, but at the end of the day, it's going to naturally do what it does. Very good. Any other questions? Lovely. Any questions?
No.
Perfect. Your what?
Lights.
Oh, ding, ding, ding. Very nice. Well, thanks for being here, lady.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.